Hey everybody, it is Nathan Selove with another edition of Amusing Autism. Because autism can be funny. I look in a mirror and I laugh. So today I want to talk about an experience that I know a lot of you can probably relate to. When someone steals your seat. So a lot of autistics are creatures of routine. We like things to stay the way they are. It helps us get acclimated to our circumstances, and sometimes when that routine is thrown off, even in subtle ways, it can be a little bit more devastating to us than outsiders might believe. I want to talk about one particular example of this happening. So this happened back when I was in graduate school. So I walk into one of my classes and I notice that one of my classmates is sitting in the seat that I normally sit in. And as soon as I see that, I kind of just froze for a second. See, lots of autistics tend to be more direct when it comes to that type of confrontation, but others are very nervous about confrontation. I'm usually the latter, so I kind of just stood there and stared for a while. Like I was like... And then after like 1 minute of me awkwardly standing there just kind of staring at him, he finally looked up and realized that I had been staring at him for a minute. And finally he was like, "Oh, Nathan, did you want to sit here?" And then I was like, yes. And then he was like, "Okay, well just give me a second." And I was like, "Take your time." So this story at least has a happy ending because he did end up giving up the seat so that I could sit where I normally sat. Although not all stories end this way. There have been a lot of times in which this has happened and I've asked someone if I could have my seat and the response is, "Well, I don't see your name on it." "Yeah, well, I don't see your name on your face, but we both know that belongs to you." "Yeah, I just went there." Okay, that sounded a lot more witty in my head, but it is still technically true, and it does demonstrate the fallaciousness of that argument. Now, to a lot of people watching, this story might seem silly or quirky, and let's be honest, that's because it kinda is. But the thing about autistics that have my same hang-ups about switching seats is the fact that we are creatures of routine, and when we're in new places, it can be really hard for us to feel acclimated. So what that actually means is that if I were sitting in a different seat, I would be distracted for like the first half hour of class because I would be focused on trying to readjust myself to this new angle that I'm doing. So it's not just about autistics being stubborn or unreasonable, but it is a sensory thing. Let me put it this way. So neurotypicals are often very uncomfortable with just sitting around in silence. So sometimes in order to fill that awkward silence, they might talk about things that they aren't really interested in, like the weather. And I have done my best to accommodate that. I learned all about the different types of clouds so that I can talk about that with neurotypicals. So that way, if a neurotypical comes up to me and says, "Hey, it's lovely weather we're having," I can be like, "Yeah, nothing but cumulus clouds today." And that, my friends, is how you social. But accommodation is a two-way street. So if autistics accommodate neurotypicals' needs a lot, then all we ask is just a little bit of that accommodation in return. Well, that is today's episode. Thank you all for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a like, a share, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, check out some of my other stuff, and if you want to support the channel in other ways, support me on Patreon. And you will see me in the next one.